Hello, this is Jens Johansson and
Lauri Porra.
And we play in the band Stratovarius. And you are looking at or listening to Linea rock. I don't know, maybe both.
That in fact is true. Stay metal.
Thank you very, very much. Okay. Welcome Jens and Lauri of Stratovarius to Linea Rock in Milan. You're about to play a gig tonight in our city. Once again, always a pleasure to have you here. And is that the same to you when you come back to Italy?
Yes, playing in Italy is fantastic. Very good audience. It's always nice when you get more south. Also, it's a very warm day today.
Yes, it is, finally, because like it was, winter time till yesterday, so you've been lucky.
Yeah, it was winter everywhere
Okay.
before we came, so it's a party day.
Okay, so Nemesis is one of the best and most inspired records of your recent history.
If you say so.
New drummer Rolf Pilve, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is taking York Michael place. Why him? Did you organize any auditions? And I was wondering, since Stratovarius is such a great band, there was any famous drummer who put in for the job that called you or something like that?
There was plenty of interesting people, but of course it's not good sport to say who they were, but there were some heavy hitters. But we looked at a lot of videos also from unknown people, which was actually quite a long process. So I think really we spent maybe like 4 months looking for drummers, I think.
Yeah,
Wow.
more or less. About 100 drummers we listened to or something, I would say.
Maybe even more.
Out of which maybe like 20 or 25 were like really, really good.
Yeah, exactly.
And was Lauri the final word was on you, since you're the bass player, the rhythm section is very important in a band like Stratovarius. So.
Actually, there was no need for a final word. When we played Rolf, it was easy. He was the best. So there was no need for the final word. It was just, well, it's the best drummer. He's the drummer of Stratovarius, so it was okay. Not really so much talking about it after that.
Rolf was one of the first that you actually auditioned, or one of the last?
I think he was somewhere in the middle.
In the middle.
He was like a little bit of a dark horse because his name didn't come up until quite late. But then when we started actually playing with people, he was just one of the bunch, let's put it this way. I was very impressed with his playing, but also his personality is nice. It's like very mellow, easygoing kind of guy. And I think for me, this is super important because we have the system in the band where everybody has more or less equal power.
Yeah.
So of course you don't want to have somebody who doesn't understand music. We want a sensible and musical guy. But of course as a drummer you also need somebody that knows how to play. So I think we found everything.
Exactly. He's perfect.
Great. Okay, talking about the new album title, after Episode, Visioning, Destiny, once again there's one single word in the title. Is this some kind of ritual for you? And what's the meaning behind Nemesis that made you choose this title?
It just sounds cool. I think that's the thing. We didn't have an album title, and then Matthias came up with this idea, and everybody thought it sounds pretty cool. So it's not like really a concept album in any way, shape, or form. It's more collection of songs. But once you pick the title, it sort of sets a little bit the mood also for the record, and then the album art came after that, and I think things feel like they fall into place. But of course, most of the songs and the stuff were written before we had this title.
Okay.
I think when you have one word, it packs more power than the Dark Knights of Magical Kingdom with Dragons.
Exactly.
It's like, it's rather talk about Nemesis.
Mm. That's very true.
Yeah.
3-syllable word with 7 letters.
Direct impact.
That's how we roll.
Okay.
I have to look in the dictionary. What other words are there?
Yeah, we're running out.
Sounds like there are more keys on this new album. Was it due to the composition direction? Was it a choice, or it simply came naturally like that?
It just came naturally. There was no grand plan.
Okay.
Which is actually the way I like it, because then you get more surprised, in a way. Like if nobody's saying like, we should make reggae album or something, you know, like it's of course very bad. Like
We should make a reggae album.
that's of course very bad. Reggae explosion, 2 words,
Yeah.
more than 7
So no
letters.
good.
No, it has to be called then Rexplosion
Exactly.
or Sexplosion. I'm getting something now.
Matthias had a big part in songwriting once again. How did his involvement with the band since 5 years now influenced or changed Stratovarius' direction?
Well, Matthias is clearly like a very high power in the band, and also I guess in many ways like a leading art force. Even though we do everything together, also me and Jens and Timo write songs, but it's been a natural process for Matthias to fall into being the producer as well. Even though everything we do is more or less democratic, it's also good to have sort of one guy like as a producer instead of 5, and I think Matthias is the best for the job as of now. Or what do you think, my
Yeah,
friend?
exactly. No, you can't vote on every fader move, of course, like you put this 3 decibels higher,
Yeah.
like, no, I vote for 2 decibels. That doesn't work. So of
But-
course you have to delegate. It's like in real life, in politics.
I-
you elect somebody to do the job. You know, someone.
He does most of the songs, and his vision is pure. That I think he's a guy that we trust, maybe even the most in this thing.
Okay.
He can understand the full thing.
The songs "If the Story is Over" and "Out of the Fog" come from collaboration with Jenny of Sonata Arctica, who already worked with Timo in Offerings Chain. This is the first time that somebody which is not in the band gives such an important collaboration. So why him, and I mean, how did the idea came about?
I think they have been doing some acoustic shows in Finland, around, you know, some places there.
Yeah, and even an album called
Exactly.
Sexplosion or Black
Exactly.
Sorry.
Black acoustic album.
Yeah.
So I think between some of these gigs, they drove to Timo's cottage in middle of Finland because it's like so far from everything to drive back down to Helsinki. And I think they just started, you know, developing some ideas, and everybody else in the band liked them, which is like, again, where this democracy comes in, that we sort of vote on things, but everybody liked it and nobody had any objections to bring in an outside writer in this case, like, so why not, you know? And I think that the album becomes more diverse and becomes a little bit, you know, you have a bunch of different mindsets and ideas. You can somewhat tell that it comes from different pens, but still it's a good whole, I think, because we are still, of course, we have one producer and then one set of people playing it, like singing. So I don't know, it's an interesting approach, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ad hoc band songwriting.
Yeah, it's cool. There's no problem. What's like the best song?
Yeah.
You take it. It doesn't matter who wrote it.
Okay.
I think.
Lauri, you are a very talented and prepared musician. You went to school, you play everything. Jens, when you chose him to come in the band, was that one of the qualities that, I mean, you were looking for? And Lauri, for you, you know, a band like Stratovarius was like a goal, or you simply were doing auditions and looking for, you know, a permanent job? How was the approach?
I think it was natural. I was playing a lot of bands in Finland at the time, like also Kotipelto's band, a band called Synergy and Warman, and bunch of stuff. So it was just natural progression, I think.
Yeah.
And you know, I do a lot of stuff, of course, in the side when I have time. Of course, Stratovarius is priority, but yeah, I felt it was like natural.
Right.
Goal in a way, I don't know. Always to go forward.
Okay.
That's the way.
So, Jens, you were looking for such a complete musician like he is.
Yeah, I think actually we were not looking at anybody else. It was just like, we should get Lauri. It was not any discussions really at all. Like,
Okay.
not like with this drummer thing where we figured just spend some time, you know.
I think that's what it comes in the end. Also with Matthias we didn't know, but whenever, of course I wasn't there when you were thinking about me, But also with Matthias, it's like first you look at a bunch of things, and then when it's the right, it's like, he's the dude. And then you sort of forget everybody else, even though they were really good players.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Jens, it seems that you are changing a lot, album by album. That you're in a sense losing more and more your neoclassic style, that the typical style that made you famous. Now you prefer a more melodic approach. That what sounds like. Why now?
I think it's actually with this band the approach has always been somewhat to have melodic songs, like at least as far as the vocals, it's been almost like pop, in a way. So I don't think it's changed so much. But if you think it's changed, it's maybe again because 2008 we had this great change in the structure of how the band made new records. Because before that time we had one guy called Timo Tolkki who wrote most of the songs. Actually, we let him decide at least what songs to put on the albums, and of course he very often preferred his own songs, which I would have done as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think after 2008, if that's what you mean, the difference is that we just have more people writing, and different people writing.
I think you still have that neoclassic. There's always like little parts here. And there. I think most. The most of all.
What I was trying to explain actually was that maybe you felt in a sense trapped in the power metal cliche, and you like naturally evolving into something else, or
no, I've never felt trapped. But I think it's of course very interesting when you get surprises. This is what I sort of live for. And I think when other people write songs and they have completely different approach to what I would do or to how Tolkki would do it, of course then you get like bit surprised, which is kind of nice. And I think maybe in the end the fans also will appreciate that, because then you don't get like, you get like, they also get surprised in a nice way maybe. And I think this Nemesis, I think is like the epitome of this process, because by now everybody knows each other very well and we know how to write for each other, and we know, I think in Matthias' case, when we made Polaris, of course he had not played a single show with us, so he had never met any actual Stratovarius fans. And now he has made maybe 200 or 300 shows. So of course he knows the Stratovarius fan better, the mentality of the typical Stratovarius fan, and he knows us guys in the band much better. I mean, I had not even met him when I started playing with him, So.
Lauri, you have recorded 2 solo albums, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Are you maybe working on a 3rd one? Actually, do you have time to do that, or is
I already did a 3rd one, but I forgot to release it, and now I have to do it a little bit again. But it's basically recorded.
Okay. So it's how long ago did you record it? Is a long time?
I started already 4 years ago, but then I added a bunch of stuff just a couple of months ago.
Oh. So it feels like already old, that's what you mean?
Yeah, that's why I have to redo a bunch of stuff. But I took a symphony orchestra to it, so it's gonna be fun when I get it done.
And how is this tour with Amaranth going? It's a co-headlining tour, so is it equal or more fans camps for Stratovarius? How is it going?
That's difficult to say. You can tell a little bit with the merch. If they buy more merch or from us or from them in a way, but I have actually not seen the statistics. But the thing is, once they buy the ticket, you don't really know who they went to see. But I think here we are probably stronger than Amaranth by far. For instance,
it changed from country to country. Maybe some more people come to see us, especially in here or France or Spain. But then maybe in Sweden there will be more people to see Amaranth. Also, we play last, everywhere else except Scandinavia, where we let Amaranth play last because they maybe have more fans in Sweden and Copenhagen.
Why did you choose them? Since they seem a very different band than Stratovarius.
That's actually part of the reason, because I think what you want to do, you want to bring in new fans to check out our stuff, and I think they perhaps thought the same thing. They want to have maybe more metal fans because they are more poppy by far.
I also like the balance that last time we did a tour, we did it with Halloween, which is older older band and brings maybe older people, and then now we have a younger band with maybe younger people, because it's always the idea of being able to reach more people than you already reach is of course something we want to do, because we have a good album and it needs to be presented to the people.
It's also this thing, how do you get people, you know, off the couch? So I think if we would have had like just support bands, I think it's not a strong package maybe, you know, so for the price of one ticket you get to check out 2 bands that perhaps you would have not gone if they had like 2 separate concerts. And of course we knew that they probably plan to tour at the same time because they have an album out exactly at the same time as us. And there are a lot of other stuff in the market too. There's like this Halloween guys are out with Gamma Ray, and then the Sabaton has been out mopping up, you know, any euros from concert goers. So of course you have to present some sort of a, you know, valuable package for the people. Otherwise they spend, you know, quite sensibly they spend the money instead on food or, you know, cigarettes, or that's not so good. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff competing for your.
Jens, you've been playing with Yngwie Malmsteen for a long period, and in the, let's say, early days of his career.
Actually, it wasn't even that long. It was only like 4 years.
Yeah,
four and a
but
half.
it was the best 4 years, maybe, of his whole career. Right? So the top albums came out back then, and you also played with Dio for shorter amount
Yeah,
of
that's
time.
like almost only a year. Maybe
Yeah,
a little bit more.
Lock Up the Walls was the album. Which was the most exciting experience for you between those two, and do you have any great memories, especially of Dio, that you want to share with us?
Yes, that's a multi-part question. I would say the first question, I would say probably the Yngwie gig was more exciting because we were younger and, you know, everything was completely new. It's like the first time you ever come to Milano and the first time you ever go to Paris, you know, like, and there was like a lot of firsts, put it this way. And of course we had a lot of fun. I mean, we were all pretty good friends, and we were like, had similar mindsets when it came to everything, you know, more or less. As far as the second question, if I have any good memories, only good memories from the time with Ronnie's band. It was like just good vibes, and he was a very special, nice guy. Like,
Is there any particular image that you keep by the heart of him, like a snapshot or something?
well, if you well, actually something I saw on a video, I found this old videotape when he was painting Simon Wright's face with some mustache. That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
That's the image I get right now, like how he was laughing. Like, it's fucking Simon was sleeping. He was of course a little bit upset when he woke up, but I think he deserved it because he had drank like 500 beers and then was like
500.
somehow. Kind of a little bit mean, a little bit uncharacteristic for Ronnie, but it was still kind of funny. Like, so that's the one image that I just remembered now.
And Jens, in the 90s, with your brother Anders, now with Amorpho, you recorded a great album, The Last Viking, which featured Goran Edman on vocals and Michael Romeo of Symphony X on guitar and bass. Was that a one-shot project, or sometime soon you'll feel the call again to make some more music with that band?
I don't know. I think it was more of a one-shot thing.
Okay.
It's like everything is an experiment in a way. Like we had this contact at the Japanese label, so we more or less made it just for Japan. You know, it was like, and then it turned out that some other people, different than Japanese people, liked it too. But you know, it was like we tried reviving a little bit this like 80s neoclassical stuff.
Is it very different to work on project like that than with a band like Stratovarius?
I think so. I think that's like more. That was like mega relaxed. I mean, we just, you know, we took whatever time it took, like probably 8 months, because of course I was busy with Stratovarius at the time too. And you know, you send the tapes to Mike, and he would, I don't have time this week, you know, and then, you know, maybe next month or something, and he would, okay, yesterday I did the whole thing, you know, and then okay, you get the tapes back. Like, so it's of course completely different thing, because it was like a small label, and they were basically, whenever it was ready they would release it, but there was no like strict time schedule or anything like that, because Stratovarius obviously back then also was the priority. And for him, for my brother Hammerfall, I think he was already starting with them and doing some touring and stuff.
Okay.
So.
Lauri, is Stratovarius of Iron Maiden one of your main influences as a bass player or not? I mean, when I see you play, sometimes I see, moves that reminds me of him. Is that something correct or?
No.
No, not at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm very, very little influenced by him. I'm more influenced in metal by Cliff Burton.
All right.
I think visually also,
Yeah.
because that was what I was really. I mean, I like Iron Maiden, but I didn't listen to it when I was
A child.
or young. I was listening to thrash, and Cliff Burton was like, in that sense, main dude. Of course, there's billions of, but the image you're looking is Cliff Burton.
Yeah. Jens, your style of playing with the keyboards turned is something that you, if I'm correct, very first did as a pioneer. Is that very difficult? And did you start first, the regular way, and then you improved that? How did it work?
I bet somebody thought of this before me. I don't think it's such a revolutionary idea, but
Okay.
I think the only thing I've been a little bit consistent, I would say, the last 10 or 15 years with it, but it's not difficult. It's that you can see the fingers. That's the main idea. Otherwise, of course, if you had the keyboard in a normal way, you can't really see the fingers. So.
Yeah, so the audience can see.
Yeah, exactly.
The fingers.
Oh, so yeah. Okay, do you want to leave a message to the Italian fans who loves you very much before we close this interview?
You have a good message.
We love you, Italian fans, also.
Yes. We love you, we love your food, we love your coffee, but we love you the most.
Yes.
Thanks, guys, very much, and good luck for the show tonight.
Grazie mille.
Ciao!